Hi Cancer, welcome back to Wandering Magic. These are going to be your love messages for the summer, and it's going to be specifically for Cancer in Venus. So if your Venus is in Cancer, if you're not sure, just listen to your Sun, Moon, or Rising. I'll try for these to link something down below so you can figure out what that is for you if you don't know what your Venus is in. And we're going to get started. Okay, so I pre-shuffled here. Here we go. Before I get started, the song I was singing was who was that singer? I want to say Avril Lavigne. It's not her. Paramore. Paramore. I should be over all the butterflies. I'm into you, and even on our worst night, I'm into you. I still wonder how we got this far. Still, I don't need it. I don't even need to wonder at all, because after all this time, I'm still into you. With that being said, that is a very sweet song. And to me shows that you've been with this person for a while. It doesn't have to be years and years and years and years. It's just a while and you're still into each other, which is great. That also tells me that if you had a crush on somebody, you still have those feelings of having a crush. Or also, like, if you're, you just really are, you're digging somebody right now and your feelings haven't changed and they only seem to be growing. Keep that in mind with the next thing I'm about to say. Round and round is your oracle message. So this is card 25, which is 7. And this is about having faith and patience in what's to come next. And also self-awareness. But with that being said, there is a situation. So it's like, despite the fact that we're having these disagreements or these arguments right now, we're not quite meeting eye to eye. Things are still on the up and up. So it's like a very mature feeling between the two of you. Like, it's mutual. It just feels more like hiccups or bumps in the road. So during the summer months, despite what you're going to be going through, it's still going to be like, okay, it's like having an argument and then making up right after is what the energy feels like for this. But round and around talks about an issue that can't really be resolved right now between the two of you. For some reason you can't quite figure it out. Why is this not working out? Why are things going this way? Things of that nature. And it just feels a little frustrating, but it's more like an annoyance than a frustration, if that makes sense. But whatever the issue is, it's coming right back around. So remember, speaking of going right back around, Mercury is going in retrograde in the middle of July, but we enter July in that pre-shadow period, and then August 10th, I believe. In August, it's the end of it, but then 2 weeks after that, so almost the entire summer, Mercury's retrograding. So this is something coming back, and it doesn't have to be necessarily like a bad thing. It just seems whatever this thing is between the two of you, there's just a little bit like a disagreement, and you're trying to figure out how can we resolve this. And it just seems like a conundrum. How can I fix it? And the more you try to come up with answers, the more difficult it seems like you can't. And it's like one person's like, well, we could do this, and the other one's like, no, we can't, we should do this. And that's really what it feels like. But it doesn't feel harsh. It doesn't feel mean. Like I said, it just feels very mature. For your Kipper messages here, we have house, adjudication, and thoughts. This is stress, a little stress. Stress surrounding the house, potential legal matters. It doesn't feel like a divorce, although one of you could be a divorcee, and that could be something tied into this house. Or like during this period of your relationship, like the time you got married, how a house could have been a thing, and then like either like where is the house, or something about your living situation is not quite working. It could be also legal things with your landlord. One person is had the apartment, didn't say two people were living there, kind of situation. Whatever the case may be, the situation is bringing you some stress with this thoughts and adjudication connected together bring conflict, a little bit of negativity. Stress is what I'm going to call that. And so just keep this in mind. Like, the summer is going to be a little gruesome. I'm not saying that there's going to be some legal matters, but it has to do with something legal, a lease, a deed, a contract. Again, it doesn't feel like divorce. It just feels like something that's connecting the two of you together. And it feels like it might be a home situation that is stressful. It could even be like, you know, one of you was living with roommates, and they're just tired of so-and-so being in the house all the time, kind of thing. So just keep it light, but there are going to be issues around a home situation for the Cancer. Not good. Cancers thrive in their home environment, so just be careful with that. There's the Queen of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands, all in reverse here. As we retrograde through the summer, this is almost like trying to make things fit that aren't quite working. It's like manipulation, constantly trying to prove yourself. Someone in this connection feels a little unworthy of the other person. Almost feels like they feel like, I can't do anything that is the expectations of my partner. It also feels like possessiveness a bit, clinginess, too much time together. Take a little bit of time apart. Not like breakup or a break from the relationship or separation, but there's just too much of the on top of each other. But I do feel like, again, I just looked down at this house, and it feels like the situation with the house is so stressful. There's too much of it going on. So if you live together, one person is in the home more, so like maybe someone was hybrid and now they're working home now, and like that's the too much at home. It could simply be like whatever the home situation is, it's like there's just too much closeness, like almost like you have to like let each other breathe. And it and I'm not even saying this like, it doesn't feel like quite a new love, although it could be, but it feels more like there's too much time together, and that's the problem. Does that make sense? So it's not that you don't want to be around this person, it's that you're just around them a little too much, and it's starting to kind of like get to you. And keep in mind, this could be the other way around, but that's what I'll say about that. Definitely there's a little bit of a slowdown happening. All slowdowns are intentional. Is that a 5? No, this is a Knight. This is a 5. This is the Knight of Swords, and this is the 5 of Wands. Again, both in reverse. So to me, this is telling me that even though there is this slowdown, what I'm also getting is some of the issues that you're having are, it's like petty arguments. But you know how like you've been around someone too long, so it's like they're breathing, and then you're like, why are you breathing like that? And they're like, I'm just breathing. That's the kind of like petty arguments that it feels like. It just feels so silly. Like, it feels silly. And I just want to tell you, like, just someone needs to go to maybe like a friend's trip, with away with somebody, like stay overnight at a cousin's house, like whatever the case may be. There's too much togetherness right now, and it's actually, oddly enough, causing a bit of conflict. What you're doing is not quite working, and putting your thinking cap on it's again alone time. You need a little bit of alone time. You just need time away from this person is really what this is about, because there's just too much togetherness. I don't even know how else to say it at this point. But again, it's not a big deal. There are no major arcanas right now, so I'm not hearing like serious alarms going off right now, but there's definitely like it's like a caution. There's caution tape up, but caution tape up is only temporary. Okay, that's what I'll leave that. Think it over is your mystical oracle message here. Think it over. And I was looking at her name. It says Winter Says. Look it over, and then rewrite your story and personality traits. So this is just, again, not the end all be all. We are release, feel peace now. That like obsessive behavior needs to get dropped. With the rewrite of your story, some things need to change. And with personality traits, this shows me that what attracted you to this person was their personality from the beginning. And when you are starting to get annoyed with somebody, you could start to forget the reasons why. I'm not saying you're not attracted to this person. All I'm saying is their personality outshines everything about them. And that's actually what makes them more beautiful in your eyes. A reminder for you to keep the conversations light and go as deep as you need to. I'm not saying go surface level. I'm saying keep them light and airy, because there's already going to be tension, because there is tension in the home. If a Cancer's home is not balanced, there's a problem. And this is not good. So just try to keep the peace as best as you can. I just heard one of you say, I'm the one that keeps the peace all the time. And I feel you and I hear that. But what I'm saying is try to keep the peace as best you can, only knowing what's happening with the planets right now, and knowing that there is a problem in the house that will get resolved. It will get resolved. You're just having these problems right now, okay? Watch your sun, moon, rising, and specifically Venus, okay? If you're not a Cancer Venus, not that this wasn't for you, you'd know if it resonated or not, but there may be additional messages in your other signs. All right, so take care, enjoy your summer. See you next time. Bye.